Sports Zone update.
Well, the Brewers will have another representative at the All-Star game next week, along with Freddie Peralta. Closer Trevor McGill got the news yesterday after he struck out 3 Dodgers in the top of the 10th to help the Brewers sweep L.A., and his inclusion in the Midsummer Classic somewhat thanks to Peralta, who's going to pitch on Sunday for Milwaukee, making him unavailable to pitch in Tuesday's game. You could tell how much it meant to McGill when he spoke with reporters after yesterday's game.
This was number one for me this year. You guys asked me earlier this season, and I kept it to myself that this is what, I was striving for, and a lot of hard work and a lot of pitchers in front of me, a lot of my bullpen guys in front of me, putting it down and giving me the opportunity to go out there and get saves this year. So, without the guys around me, this probably wouldn't be possible. So.
McGill and the Brewers getting the day off before opening up the final series of the first half of the season tomorrow against Washington. Going into tonight, Milwaukee just a game and a half back of Chicago for first in the NL Central. Meanwhile, first baseman Rhys Hoskins figures to be out for a while with his sprained thumb. Team reportedly not expecting him back until at some point in August.
Rural Mutual Insurance, keeping Wisconsin strong.
Rural Mutual Insurance is a proud sponsor of the Wisconsin State Fair. As a thank you for your support, they're giving away State Fair tickets. Visit ruralmutual.com/win and enter to win State Fair tickets.
Rural Mutual Insurance, keeping Wisconsin strong.
Well, we're now less than 2 weeks from the start of Packers training camp. Things are going to get going July 23rd up in Green Bay with the first of 14 practices open to the public. Packers rookies and injured players are actually due to report next Friday. And Big Ten Media Days coming up in Las Vegas starting July 22nd. With this Wisconsin Sports Zone Network update, I'm Zach Heil, Print.
Here's Churio now, looking for his first big league walk-off. Churio, base hit! Ball game! Freeland scores! And the Brewers win! They sweep the Dodgers! Jackson Churio with his first career walk-off, and he makes a winner out of the Brew Crew, sending the Dodgers to their 6th straight loss.
Quintana today just stepped up. He wasn't going to be outdone by anyone. 6 innings, 2 hits or something like that. Gill, Uribe, Koenig, Anderson, Mears, Ashby. 6. We used 6. That was good.
This is where Wisconsin gathers to talk sports. Packers, Brewers, Badgers, Bucks. The Wisco Sports Show is on the air. Now, here's your host, Grant Bills.
It's the walk-off from yesterday. That happened while the first hour of the show was going on. And you heard a little comment there from Murph after the fact. A good summary. If I can ever find a comment from Murphy or LaFleur or whoever, for the show after a big game, I'm always looking for the comment from the post game to kind of summarize, just kind of get the show started, kind of set the mood and build the foundation for what we're going to discuss. I think that comment is hilarious. I'm going to play it unedited without the music under it here. Just listen. Tell me if you find part of this funny the way that I do.
Quintana today just stepped up. He wasn't going to be outdone by anyone. Gave us 6 innings, 2 hits or something like that. And the whole bullpen with McGill, Uribe, Koenig, Anderson, Mears, Ashby. 6. We used 6. 6 on 8. Yeah, thought it was good.
That's the part. The second half is the part that gets me. Like, man, Quintana, 6 innings, great work, only 2 hits, gave up a run, but I mean, it's the Dodgers. And then, of course, the bullpen, Ashby and Mears and Grant Anderson, and then also Jared Koenig, and then Uribe got in there too, and then also McGill. I understand it went to extras, but it takes a special type of performance from a manager like Pat Murphy to find a way to get 6 innings of 1 out or 1 run ball from your starter, and then find a way to use 6 of your 8 available relievers. And I'm not even telling you that how dare you use Mears or, try to save. I mean, not even from a preservation angle. There just has to be a more efficient way to get through the final 3. I understand they went to 10. So luckily McGill was available for the 10th. It's there had to be a better way to do that, or a different way to do it. Maybe a way that didn't feature Aaron Ashby, who threw 40 pitches, less than 48 hours before. But the Brewers got the win. It's fine. That's where we will begin tonight. That's what we're going to spend most of our time on tonight, mostly because there's not much else going on. Giannis was on with a streamer, which we need to talk about separately, because back in my day, and my day of watching Twitch was 2018, 2019, people played video games on there. That's what Twitch was for. Among other things, Ebo's always had his show on Twitch, but Like now Twitch, the biggest shows on Twitch or the biggest streamers on Twitch are just people IRL, as we say, just in real life or just chatting. It's a little confusing, but Giannis is on with a streamer talking a little bit about Giannis or his future with Milwaukee. He was talking about himself. Yes, he is Giannis. That's not how I should have worded that. So we'll talk about that as well. We have a guest tonight, Bart Winkler, going to be here at 4:35. I try not to do this. Normally my goal is the show starts and by 4:05, like we're into the meat and potatoes, what we're talking about. I have to share. I'm having some kind of day over here. Okay. So I've been trying to get to the gym after work a little bit more often because the company that I work for is so nice. They get us a gym membership. It's a really nice gym. So I've been trying to go after work. And yesterday I did legs. Like I work out my legs. I go on the stair climber a lot. I run a lot. I swim. Like I work out my legs just kind of as an effect of just being active. It's been a while since I've actually done a leg day. My ass, when I'm walking on a level surface, it's fine. If I have to get in and out of a chair or go downstairs, I can go upstairs okay. Going down steps. So physically, I'm just off kilter today. And then in the third hour of Bill's show, Kate, who's a part-timer here, you hear on Bill's show sometimes, or early in the morning on Over the Line. She has some stuff with Q106, our country station as well. She comes in, she says, "Hey, I'm going to Chick-fil-A. Would you like anything?" And I packed what I thought to be a pretty good, healthy lunch. But if someone, was going to offer to bring me something, I'm like, what about just a little thing of fries? Sounds great. Just a little treat. You know what I mean? I mean, did you hear I worked legs yesterday? I deserve it after all. She comes back with the fries. But then also she got a free chicken sandwich. I don't know if she has like a loyalty program. I don't know. She gave me a chicken sandwich. And then she also gave me a refresher from Starbucks, some type of green tea refresher. She's like, "Hey, I got this. I don't like it. You're free to have it if you want." I'm not a huge iced coffee guy just because there's so much like cream and sugar. And it's not that it's not good and that I don't enjoy it, but when I have to be on air from 4 to 6, like most people, you start to crash around 4 o'clock, right? So like imagine if the high point of your day is at 4 o'clock. Like that's tough. So I need to I make decisions throughout the day, kind of with that in mind. I can't feel fat and full or tired, or I try not to at 4 o'clock. But I mean, it's a free refresher, and I mean, it's just green tea. I even looked up the ingredients. I'm like, okay, green tea and ice and a little water. There's nothing in here. I don't know between the tea or the chicken. I don't know what it was. My digestive system has been thrown in quite a direction. I have been on the radio every day since 2018 in a talk show capacity, music radio even before that, but like in terms of you are seated talking for an hour plus on end. I've never had an experience where it's like I have to go, and it's not like I have to go and would like to go to the, like, I don't know if it was quite an ordeal, and my body has yet to bounce back. So between my lower half from a muscular perspective and to put it politely, a digestive perspective, I'm struggling. I also got myself a Diet Coke from Quick Trip. I thought that would help. I don't know why I thought that would help. I think it is. This is kind of what I'm going through. 3 minutes about my day. It's almost the All-Star break. There's not a ton going on. Brewers are off today. So just to put you in my mindset, what I'm experiencing today. I want to pick up where we left off last night. We basically did 2 hours on the Brewers have great pitching. They have great defense. If Mizorowski's the real deal, and it seems more and more like he might be, and if Woodruff is some sort of good to great, maybe not prime Brandon Woodruff, but if he's still some version of very good Brandon Woodruff, it might be like almost disrespectful. It might be neglectful. Is that a word? For the Brewers front office to just stand pat and continue to run Joey Ortiz out there. And again, I'm not picking on Joey Ortiz, but my point and the point I tried to make 6 ways to Sunday last night, and we took calls on this, we discussed it. It's like, if the pitching staff is this good and you have this good of an opportunity, pitching, defense, and a couple good bats, like, aren't you kind of doing your roster and your fan base a disservice by not going out and trying to improve the team? Like, come on, this is, and I've heard this echoed in a couple places over the last 24 hours. So I have some sound that I want to play for you. This is Brian Kenny, no relation to Ben Kenny. It's spelled differently. MLB Now on MLB Network. Here he is describing the Brewers' identity. It's about 60 seconds. Listen to this.
Here's the data to back it up. Plate discipline, all right? Chase percentage. The Brewers are #1 in not chasing pitches outside the strike zone. Contact. The Brewers are 4th in baseball in putting the ball in play. Base running. That's BSR, base running runs. Number 1 in the sport. They go from first to third. They steal. They run hard all day long. And defense. That's fielding run value, FRV. That combines your range and your arm. And here they are, number 2 in all of baseball. This is an identity. They know who they are. Their manager especially knows who they are, and he reinforces it. Several times this season, Pat Murphy, last year's National League Manager of the Year, has benched his players for defensive lapses, for poor situational hitting. It doesn't have to be egregious. But when he feels things are getting loose, so to speak, he's happy to tighten things up. He benches guys.
So the discussion again about pitching and about defense, right? About the style of baseball that they play. Here's a little bit from the Locked On Cubs podcast. Our friend Sam Olber and his co-host, Matt, why can't I remember his name? I listen to their podcast a good amount. Why can't I? Oh, shoot. I'll look it up while you listen to this. But this is 60 seconds of those two talking about the Brewers, their play style, and why they're an issue. And I will start from the beginning.
With the way the team up north, with the way they're playing, they've won 29 of their last 41 games.
Jeez, man.
You don't have room for error, and they're pushing you. I understand the easy thing to do is to say, Sam, they just won five out of 6. It's just 2 games. It's not just 2 games when your opponent never loses.
Right, and it's amplified because that team has also won in bunches for the last 6-7 years.
Yep, exactly. And I'm so tired of, they just get lucky. It's like, you know what? If they've been lucky for 7 years, maybe they should go get a scratch off or something. Or maybe they should have a 50-50 raffle or whatever.
Right, they're the only team that luck is involved.
They just play a different brand of baseball that the metrics haven't caught up to yet. It's not about exit velocity. It's not about launch angle. They just play differently. And so because we don't have the numbers on that yet, we just say it's luck. Well, hopefully we get lucky in the game against the Twins on Thursday because we need a win.
They did. The Cubs won today, so the division deficit for the Brewers is now at 2. Here's a little bit more from Brian Kenny on the Brewers pitching staff, and then I will give you my take. I'm playing all of this sound for a reason. I'm not just killing time, although, this is a nice benefit. I'm not going to lie. But here's a little bit more from Brian Kenny, MLB Now, talking about the Brewers and their outlook this season.
Think about what the Brewers were throwing against the Dodgers last night. Jacob Mizorowski, electric, unhittable stuff, 699, major action on his pitches. Milwaukee went Mizorowski for 6, Jared Koenig, Abner Uribe, and then Trevor McGill. The 4 of them combining to average over 99 miles per hour. The highest team average fastball velo in a game since they began tracking velo officially in 2008. So they've just recently added Mizorowski and Brandon Woodruff, once one of the top pitchers in baseball. He missed all of last year and half of this year with a shoulder injury. Woodruff came back, pitched beautifully. First start back, 6 innings of 2-hit ball against the Marlins, 8 strikeouts, no walks. Adding these 2, it's like adding 2 high-level all-stars at the trade deadline. So this is now a serious rotation, again, on top of everything else. They already have a true number 1 in Freddie Peralta. He's got a 2.74 ERA in 105 innings pitched. Now, on top of that, Mizorowski, who's a phenom. Brandon Woodruff is back. Jose Quintana is quite good. The staff is already 5th in park-adjusted ERA among 30 clubs. 3 potential number 1s right now. Best base running team, top 3 defense. They'll be a tough out in tournament baseball.
That's the part that I want to talk about. Is this last little statement one more time.
Best base running team, top 3 defense. They'll be a tough out in tournament baseball.
So these are the kind of things that we were talking about last night. Like with this pitching, with this defense, with this base running, I mean, that's a recipe for success come October. Just need to add a little offense, right? So I was feeling pretty good about the Brewers' outlook. I'm like, I think we need to discuss this a little bit more. How do we maybe try to weasel Alex Bregman away from the Red Sox as he now returns from injury, or the Brewers going to pay the freight necessary to land probably one of the bigger names at the deadline if he's moved, Eugenio Suarez from the Diamondbacks. Like, how do we? This team feels like they got something, right? And then I went on Twitter today, and if you're watching the live stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, I'll throw it up on the screen. A tweet from Jake Wilson, who I'm told is a UWL guy, so all the more reason to like this tweet. And he points out something that hit a little close to home. The tweet says, "The year is 2021. The Brewers have an elite defense, one of the best pitching staffs in baseball, and are built for the postseason. New paragraph. The year is 2023. The Brewers have an elite defense, one of the best pitching staffs in baseball, and are built for the postseason. New paragraph. The year is 2025. And what do you know? We're being told about their elite defense, one of the best pitching staffs in baseball, and they are, like previous Brewers teams, built for the postseason.
In tournament baseball.
They'll be a tough out.
They'll be a tough out in tournament baseball.
So wait, is this team just another iteration of 2023 or 2021? Both teams that I absolutely loved, by the way. I remember talking with, I remember very specifically being home for Memorial Day 2021. The pandemic feels like it's ending. Willie Adames has just landed in Milwaukee. Vibes have never been higher. And I remember talking with my family like, man, if this isn't a World Series team, then we're just never going to see one. I loved that 2021 team. Felt great about their chances in tournament play.
In tournament baseball.
In tournament baseball. I like that. I'm going to start saying that. And then 2 years ago in 2023, it's like, well, with Woodruff and Peralta and Burns, and like, holy crap. I mean, how could you not feel great about their chances in the postseason, right? This team's built for October.
In tournament baseball.
For tournament baseball, correct. And that 2021 NLDS against the Braves, I know the Brewers won a game. That never felt close. The game they won featured a shutout performance from Corbin Burns and a home run from Rowdy Tellez. A save from Josh Hader, and Adrian Hauser, I think, pitched like 2 shutout innings. And they won that game, if I remember correctly. I didn't even pull it up because I remember, you remember. They won that game by the skin of their teeth, and then the rest of the series wasn't close at all. And then 2023 against the Diamondbacks, that never really felt close at all. They handed Corbin Burns the ball with the lead twice in that game, and he said, no. The pitching that's supposed to be so well-suited to succeed in October let them down.
In tournament baseball.
In tournament baseball, not in postseason baseball or in October. So, am I a sucker? Am I taking the same cheese from the same mousetrap that we've already, munched on? It's already snapped on our skull 2 times in the last 3 years, 4 years, I guess. Am I an idiot? Are we falling into the same trap? I mean, how many times have we heard this before?
3 potential number ones right now. Best base running team,
rinse,
top 3
repeat.
defense.
Rinse,
They'll
repeat.
be a tough out in tournament baseball.
Rinse, repeat. Elite top 3 pitchers, great defense, base running. It's like, yeah, those words that you're saying make sense. And I want to believe it. I want to buy into it until I realized today with the help of a tweet that's like, oh, we said the same things in 2021 and the same things in 2023. And going into the postseason those years, I wasn't that scared of the Diamondbacks. I wasn't that scared of the Braves. Now, the Diamondbacks go on a run and the Braves go on a run. And then we look back and I'm like, oh, of course, they were unbelievable. And they had Freddie Freeman and this great offense, or, the Diamondbacks, they just hit a ton of bombs. Powered themselves to a home run or a World Series appearance. They beat the Dodgers, for God's sake. Beat the Phillies. Am I sticking my head into the exact same mousetrap that I stuck my head into in 2023, 2021? Now, I guess, and we could discuss this on the other side of the break, the difference this year, maybe the lesson that we should learn is, yeah, pitching and defense is a great start, but you got to go add significantly. And I don't know that the Brewers added significantly in 2021 or in 2023. I pulled up the transactions they made in the middle of the season in the trade deadline, and the moves that they made in those years are kind of the moves that I'd expect this year, which doesn't bode well. I don't know why I'm whispering. We can discuss this more. I'll take some of your phone calls next at 608-321-1670.
This is the Wisco Sports Show with Grant Bills on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 3 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 2 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 1 minute. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 30 seconds.
AJ, can this team pitch its way to a deep position in October? Can they surprise some people, upset some people? If that's the case, let's go for 2 bats.
Yeah, you got to score. That's the biggest thing. Yelich and Churio and those guys, they just don't score enough. Joey Ortiz, Murph kind of went off on Joey Ortiz the other day about how he's having a million chances and hasn't taken advantage of it. Yeah, you got to find some offense somewhere, whether that's, Andrew Vaughn, you're not counting on. Hoskins coming back. You just need to find some offense. 3 runs against some of the better teams isn't going to get it done most of the time, especially in the postseason. So you've got to find some offense. I don't know where or who they could trade, but they got to do it.
A lot of talk from all the pundits in the shows and even Brewers fans. It's like, well, with a pitching staff like this and this defense, this team's built to succeed in the postseason. And up until this afternoon, I'm like, yeah, hell yeah, they are. We're so bad. In fact, we're not even so back. We never left. But then I saw a tweet earlier today, and I'll throw it up on the stream one more time, from Jake Wilson. It's like, well, we said the exact same things in 2021 and in 2023. And neither one of those postseason berths lasted very long. And neither one of those series, whether it be the Braves or the Diamondbacks, felt very competitive. Now, maybe the lesson to be learned from those series isn't you can't build a team just by pitching and defense. It's that, hey, when you have the pitching and the defense, go add a bat that matters. Don't just throw some, lower level prospects or whatever at Eduardo Escobar or Daniel Norris or Carlos. What was his name 2 years ago? Carlos from the Pirates. What was Carlos Rodriguez? What was his name? I'm scrolling the story. Why is it not bolded and underlined? This person who wrote this a couple of years ago had to know I would be Carlos Santana. Yeah, that's it. That's not going to cut the mustard. Don't give me one of those moves this year. That's not good enough. Don't just run back what you tried to do in 2021 or 2023. Let's take a call. 608-321-1670. Wisco Sports Show. Who's this?
This is Chris out of Oregon.
Chris in Oregon. Wisconsin, I assume, not the state?
Yes, sir.
Okay, awesome. Well, what's up, Chris?
It's funny you're talking about the 23-21 season, because I was talking to somebody at work about this. And I was like, man, we swept the Dodgers. We're heating up. We're looking good. Mm-hmm. And he says, we always see that going in the All-Star break. And then we come out totally flat on the other end.
With Council, they would limp, specifically if we're talking about the week or two into the break. That always hasn't gone well. And I can't remember if it, how it went in 2020. But let's just say the month of June. In 2021, Adames rolled into town. That team beat Cheeks in the month of June. They were incredible. So fast forward a month and a half from now, Miz might not look this good or Woodruff might tail off. Then we could, change our opinion. But I'm hearing a lot of the same things, Chris. It's like, it's just like 2021 or 2023. And I think the lessons from those seasons is you actually need to go get a bat that matters and not just, a nice little depth piece.
Oh, if we could pick up a bat, come out of the All-Star break with some more fire, get in a good position in the division, I think I would feel twice as good as I do right now about this team.
Yeah, I maybe there are some more similarities from 21 or 23. I'm not sure. Chris, that's a good call. And it's funny we were thinking along the same lines. I don't think that pitching and defense is bad. I'm not saying that you can't build a team that way. You can't win that way. Because plenty of teams with good pitching and defense have won World Series. We'll put it this way. It's hard to have bad pitching and defense and win a World Series. There may be teams who have had lesser pitching and lesser defense. But then I would reckon that even those teams, if such exist, lesser defensive teams or lesser teams when it comes to the pitching, they got hot at the right time. They had guys who weren't considered that great who really stepped up and got hot at the right time. You need good pitching and good defense to win a World Series. I'm not saying the way the Brewers have constructed this thing is bad. I'm saying that if you want to get into the postseason, into the tournament, and succeed at a high level, we learned in 2021 and in 2023 that old Carlos Santana or Eduardo Escobar, that's not enough. That's not going to do it. That's not going to cut the mustard. Or at the I guess another lesson learned from 2023 is Yoel Payamps, get your fat ass over to first and cover. Like that's a secondary lesson. So you got to keep that in mind too and remember that. But they're, and I have reviewing the Brew up in front of me from 2021. I wonder if this is David Gasper. Okay, it's Lesendorf. Never mind. Their additions in 2021, Eduardo Escobar, who is better than I'm giving him credit for. He was an all-star that year. Daniel Norris and John Curtis. That was their deadline in 2021. I don't remember Tight Pants Escobar doing much in the postseason. If he had, I feel like I remember it. Or if he had done enough, maybe the results would be different and more memorable. In 2023, they added Carlos Santana, Mark Canha, and did they add a reliever? Oh, yeah, Andrew Chafin. Jesus. That's right. That's the blueprint I think that the Brewers have to avoid this year. And I've been saying over the last 2 weeks, I'm not interested in a Mark Canha level ad. That's nothing against Mark Canha. He's a fine player, but the difference between Isaac Collins and Mark Canha is that's not putting this team any farther than they would be going otherwise, right? Adding an aged Carlos Santana to throw it first instead of Andrew Vaughn, I don't think is going to take this team much further than they would have gone otherwise. An impact bat, an actual game. And guess what, Brewers fans? That's gonna cost you. You're going to have to part with one of those prospects whose name you know and like. You're going to be like, oh, that guy? Yeah, that guy. That's how it works. Now, you can avoid this a little bit by making moves in the offseason when the market's a little bit more stagnant and you don't have such a small pool of sellers. The selling pool every year is just getting smaller and smaller because there are more playoff spots. More teams feel like they have an opportunity and they have a shot. So there are more buyers, less sellers every year. The market at the deadline is expensive. That's the way that it works. I saw Jerry, who tweets sometimes during the show, Jerry Windish, good Twitter account you should follow, complaining about this earlier today. It's like, hey, Brewers fans, do you think you're just going to get something for nothing? I believe the thing that he tweeted was garbage out, garbage in, which is made me laugh. You can't just trade no-name prospects and expect to get the top bat at the deadline. It doesn't work that way. So if you want to, if the Brewers, look, if they want to add offense in a marketplace that's more fair and equitable for all, then do it in the offseason, which they could not have shown any less interest in doing this last year. Their offseason this last year was let Willie Adames walk, trade away Devin Williams, and, well, I don't know, Oliver Dunn and Vinny Cat. I mean, one of these guys will figure it out. And if not, Caleb Durbin is there. Hopefully he doesn't suck. It's like, man, a sizable move, I think, could round this team out in a way where they could win postseason series. I'm not going to say they're a World Series team with the bat. That's a little ridiculous, and who knows? That's months away. But if the Brewers' deadline strategy is the same as in 21 or in 2023, out. I'm out because I think the result will be similar. We have so much precedent. We have proof of concept in 2 of the last 4 years that this type of team needs a little bit more at the deadline, needs a little bit more supplementation on offense than the carcass of Mark Canha or the bones of Carlos Santana. Like, that's not enough. It's not going to do it. So I would like to avoid repeating history this year. If we're going to lose in the first round or not accomplish goals in the postseason, I would like to do it without frittering away prospects on players that don't ultimately make a difference. I find it to be a waste of time and not very interesting. We'll take a break. Bart Winkler is going to join us next. We can talk about this with him. I also have a little bit of a pop culture question that I think Bart is uniquely qualified to talk about. And because it's the summer and it's a little slow, we're going to spend a couple minutes on that. Oasis is back. And Bart, as a child of the 90s, I want his opinion on this. So we'll talk Brewers, little NBA, and one of the greatest rock bands of a generation, at least I'm told, but that's kind of my question. Like, what's their deal? We'll talk about that with Bart next.
This is the Wisco Sports Show with Grant Bills on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 5 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 4 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 3 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 2 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 1 minute. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 30 seconds.
It's the Wisco Sports Show. Welcome back. I want to take more of your Brewers calls in hour number 2 because I think we've stumbled on an interesting topic or an interesting idea here. And we'll bring in our next guest, Bart Winkler, here, and I want his thoughts on this. So, Bart, we're hearing a lot about the Brewers pitching and defense and pitching and defense. This is the type of team that wins in October, right? You hear this a lot. You're familiar with this concept. And I saw a tweet earlier today, and I think I can throw it on the screen without kicking you off, that we were saying the exact same things in 2021 and in 2023. And I'm like, oh, am I an idiot? We were saying those things. And those playoff series against Atlanta and Arizona did not feel close. So now I'm questioning everything and I'm wondering like, oh, maybe this team does have no shot and we're falling for it again. What are your thoughts on that idea?
I am very happy to see that tweet made its way to you. That is from a gentleman named Jake Wilson.
Did you go to UWL with him?
I did. We did Sports Talk Live together quite a bit. And
was he pretty good?
What's that?
He was pretty good?
Yeah, when I got my music show then in Fond du Lac, he was my movie guy. I would call him up. He would be Popcorn Jake.
You got to have a movie guy. That rules. Hell yeah.
So that was Popcorn Jake, my guy Popcorn Jake.
Popcorn Jake. I'm going to go
because we needed a dumb name because the AM called their guy Mr. Movie, and it was just the host brother. So I'm like, well, we need to call you something, and I came up with Popcorn Jake.
So is the lesson if you're a defense and pitching team, you can't just grab ass at the deadline. Like you actually need to go. Like Mark Canna's not going to fly. Eduardo Escobar's not going to fly. Like if you have the pitching and the defense, that's a start and that'll play. But you need to like maybe win the deadline and get the prize bat that everyone wants.
Well, the Brewers have a strategy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I believe it was coined bites of the apple.
Which I think is a good one. I think the issue with that is more a PR issue, but continue.
And in this summer of fun and entertainment and passion, they have a blueprint for how to get to the playoffs.
And it's working.
And some may say that same blueprint not only gets you to the playoffs, but can allow you to win in the playoffs. The issue with that is it's helped other teams and never the Brewers. And in fact, it's helped teams beat the Brewers. I have been enjoying this run, especially the thing that gets me the most excited is, you know, they've made some great defensive plays and you're always good for like a robbery at the wall. And there's been some great pitching, and Woody's back in Milwaukee on Saturday, and Mizorowski is becoming this phenom. But the thing that excites me the most is when they're scoring runs and they're hitting the baseball. Like that game Wednesday afternoon, there was good enough pitching. They got out of some jams. There was fine defense, got out of some jams. But you're never coming back without Andrew Vaughn's bat. You're never coming back if you don't score runs.
I didn't enjoy Wednesdays. I enjoyed the winning part at the very end, but for the most part, I bitched and moaned through that entire contest.
Well, yeah, it was a, you know what we got in it though? You know what we got? We got in the 9th inning when they were down 2-1. We got Rock saying bloop and a blast.
Mm-hmm.
We got it. We got it yesterday. Oh, baby boy, do I love it.
So the offense, you say the offense is the thing that gets you going. I think the thing that gets me most going still with this team, and you are a Warriors fan, you have family that works in the organization. You've talked about this. I don't think I'm hanging you out to dry here. I think there's a Christian Yelich, Steph Curry parallel. Steph Curry's won multiple titles, obviously. I mean, when Steph gets
Curry's
it going,
like changed how people.
Would you let me? It's the middle of July. If I can't do this in the middle of July, then I can't do this.
Hey, I once did a Le'Veon Bell Steph Curry comparison.
Okay. Take away all of the championships and all the things. What Steph Curry means to that fan base and how that building lights up when he does his thing. I think Yelich hitting home runs or playing at a high level is still the thing that fires Brewers fans up the most. Like, even if we bitch about his injuries and how he hasn't been the same and the contract, it's like, but when he hits one, it's like, that's still there. It's still a thing. It still gets me.
And when he steals a base.
Mm-hmm.
My wife asked me not my wife. She relayed a message from because my kid watches Brewers games in bed.
Mm-hmm.
We stopped doing books at night, and so he watches sports in bed. Tonight's going to be tough. They might have to go summer league. And I don't think he's staying up for the Bucks at 8:30. Are you previewing that game, Bucks Nuggets?
Hour 2, yeah. Actually, maybe hour 3. I'll get
hour
to that.
3.
Yeah,
hour 3 of the show. Stick around. I have a very outside of the box complaint too that I also have to get off my chest.
Sure.
Unrelated to anything.
Include the Brewers thing, and then we'll do that next, whatever that is.
Yeah. She asked me. Or he asked me, who's the best Brewer?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, well, it's going to be Churio. Freddie's our all-star, or he was, still is. He'll be on the sideline when they do intros. I mean, Mizorowski is, I think I just might have to go back to Christian Yelich. He's our best guy.
Still nothing like it when he does his thing
and that's how it was when Braun was with those guys, and then he was like the one link from that to that, and now Yelich is like this link, like the elder statesman kind of. And if he can still produce, yes, I'm with you. It's great. It's when it's better. It's like a guy breaking a hit streak. Or a slump streak. Oh, that feels good. Or Andrew Vaughn first at bat. Oh, that feels good. But just a Christian Yelich 5th inning single up the gap. Lord Almighty, Christ Almighty.
I know. That's what I'm saying. One more thing, and then I want to get to your complaint. I think this year is starting to feel 2008-ish to me a little bit, and you can speak better to this because the value of 2008 for you is much more to me. How old were you in 2008? Ballpark. Were you 30?
I was 24, and the Brewers had not made a playoff appearance in my lifetime.
Okay. So everything riding on that 2008 year, that was just otherworldly for you. Smaller stakes, smaller scale. It feels like if the Brewers were to burn a bunch of prospects and do something out of character to go get a stud player just to break the streak of losing in the first round, I think it might be worth it at this point. They've not won a round since 2018, and they've been to the playoffs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times since then. If they were like, we just need to get off the schneid, I'd be okay with that. If they wanted to go out and get the biggest bat or the biggest player on the market, I think that would be my logic.
Well, and they've tried to do it other ways where they hang on and try to, they want to be consistently good, but are they not? Isn't part of the building up of your farm so that you can prospects are great. Okay. And just like the Oklahoma City Thunder, they have a ton of draft picks. Mm-hmm. Still, they're not going to use all of those. You got to look at, and they're human beings, and it's kind of
they're assets,
but they are prospects. You've got 4 teams in your minor league and then rookie ball and fall ball. You got all these players. Not all of them are going to make the big leagues. And then some guys, You're just going to lose in a Rule 5 draft. He's just going to be an all-star with the White Sox. Like,
yeah,
you don't have enough. So if you can use some of them to get a guy that can help you when you have this opportunity, then I would say go for it. I don't want this to be a year where it's, oh, well, we got Anthony Swarzak.
Yeah.
I want this to be a year where we get Alec Bregman.
Yeah. I'm going to do next week. I'm in for Bill. I'm going to do a lot of Alec Bregman. 2 minutes. Do you have a complaint on Summer League? Is that where that was going?
No, I have a complaint on Wisconsin's a great state.
Mm-hmm.
And once a year, there is a radio personality who comes and visits Wisconsin and posts 9 pictures of it a day.
This is a Jim Rome complaint.
Yeah, like, we get it. You like Eagle River. It's very great.
It's okay.
Yeah, there's like, if you're going to come to Wisconsin every year, you're not going to go anywhere else.
I like Eagle River. The problem is it's talked about like it's the only place like that when
because of the Jim Rome, because of Big Rome.
There's 50 of those towns from east to west, all over above Highway 8. There's probably more than 50.
Yeah, there's a lot of great towns. The Northwoods, it's excellent land. It's one of the few states where China hasn't bought up farmland in this country. Also, Wisconsin.
That's true. Wow.
Yeah, China's got ownership of farmland in about 30 states, and they're all close to like military bases. It's a little suspect.
You need to take a page out of your son's book and read a book in bed. Stop reading the internet until 4 a.m. after your show's done. Or we have free choice. You can do what you want, but I think it would be beneficial for you. But what do you want Jim Rome to do? Go somewhere else or keep it to himself and stop like making Eagle River his whole personality every summer? What's the end goal here for you?
I think I don't like the rubes that follow him and are like, gets it. You know what? That's a great question. I have a lot of complaints and I complain about a lot of things, but ultimately, what do I want out of the complaint? I don't want it. I don't know what I want. Do I want people to act different? Do I want Rome to act different? Do I want Eagle River to act different? Do I just not want this to be a thing? I don't know. Wow. I talk to somebody every month or so.
Mm-hmm.
Mental health. I'm a big advocate.
Mm-hmm.
And today I felt like I told her I just kind of feel stuck where I am right now. I kind of just feel stuck. You in that question, I mean, I'm not even kidding. That really helped me a lot more than the $85 I spent today.
Well, I'm glad. Bart Winkler is here, the Infinity Sports Network. You can hear him every night, 9 to 1, nighttime and nationwide. Him and Carlos do an excellent show. And is Into the Winklerverse podcast. You just celebrated your 500th episode, correct?
Yeah, and I thank you for being on there.
We appreciate Paul Imig as well. It's a fun podcast. I like doing it every week.
You may have, how many do you think you've been on?
I don't know. I feel like Paul's keeping track. I feel like he's keeping track.
You think Paul's got stats of like who's been on the show and for how long? And
like Winklerverse Wrapped. Yeah, I do think Paul's keeping track.
I do too.
So we have a lot of things. We could do about 3 minutes on this. You're great at talking sports, and I do enjoy connecting with you, and you know Wisconsin very well. I've mentioned in the past, no one knows broadcast TV like you do. You are a great spokesperson for spending time in lacrosse and experiences that are related to that. You're just also very good with the 90s and music from the 90s that just never landed with me. I am not someone who should love Oasis. And I understand I just wasn't raised in that type of household, so I'm not going to be like, oh, they're not any good. That's kind of a me problem. But also it's weird because I've been following their reunion and I read stories and I read like, this is a band that defined a generation. The only reason I ever knew about them and the fact that they were broken up is because Matt Healy went on this rant about just get back together already. Like, that's how I knew of them. So why does this band mean so much to so many and they fell on deaf ears for someone like me here in America?
I think what I remember about Oasis is my friend Tony got me onto them. And then, you know, after he got me onto them, like they were all over the radio. So he had heard about them and then they're on the radio all the time. And it's a big thing. And there was one quote that one of the Gallagher brothers had where they said, or somebody had said, that they were going to be bigger than the Beatles.
Which is awesome.
And it because growing up, you learn about the Beatles, and this guy, but the friend that I had, he was big into the Beatles, like huge. And so I listened in like 5th or 6th grade to a lot of Beatles. And then now there was this band that was going to be like our generation's Beatles. And we were watching it happen. And then when they all like broke up or got in a fight, you could even across the pond, mate, you could see what they were giving up. You could see what they were giving away. They were on the trajectory. At least I felt as a 11-year-old in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. I felt like I was Beatlemania. I get it now. I get to see it. I don't have to watch and listen and learn. I'm getting it. And then they broke up, and now it's like they're on reunion. I don't know. There's too many. I think there's too many reunions. Scrubs is coming back.
This feels legit because they were so huge when they stopped, and they've been gone for so long. Like, this is a reunion that people have been calling for so long. When there's plenty of bands who just don't stop, and they're like, here's our 6th farewell tour. You know what I mean?
Like whatever's going on with Ozzy and all these metal bands. What is that?
The Eagles did a farewell tour in like 2000. They were retiring when Favre was talking about retiring. And then they do like, it's the history of the Eagles tour. So don't just come listen to us, but we're also going to teach you all about our history. And now they're at Sphere. So like, I'm with you on reunion tours, but this actually, if there was ever a band to do a big reunion tour, it would be this one.
I always felt bands should get like a nice decade and then be done.
It's probably a good take.
Like, and then the lead singer dies, and so they get Adam Archuleta to be Frankie Mercury or whatever the hell's going on there.
Yeah, Frankie Mercury, that's his name. And it wasn't Adam Archuleta. Did you purposefully just get all of that wrong?
Wait.
First of all,
I screwed up the Queen guy, Freddie Mercury.
You screwed them both up. It was
Adam Archuleta.
Adam Levine. It was David Archuleta was also a contestant on.
Adam Archuleta is a safety for the Rams.
God, everyone's. David Archuleta is also a singer, and if anyone's listening, like I thought this guy was supposed to be a voice on this stuff, an authority on this stuff. Well, I've enjoyed watching the clips. I do really like Liam's pose where he puts his hands behind his back and he just sings up. I'm actually going to do the rest of the show like that. I'm going to put my hands behind my chair and I'm just going to speak into the microphone. I'm enjoying it. So I think I might get into them.
It's better than my pose. I like lay kind of and have my feet up on a desk and just like grind at this thing in my stomach the whole show. It's really, if anybody walked by me, you'd be like, there's no way this guy is broadcasting to anyone. Like this isn't even phone call form.
Yeah.
He's on a national broadcast.
That's not even the standard of a buy, sell, and trade show.
No.
I used to recline, but now I'm on camera. I try to present professionally. Appreciate you, Bart. I look forward to listening to you tonight and next week, just because I'm really interested to see what you come up with to talk about.
Oh, we do during All-Star break, we do Listener Appreciation Week.
That's good. I need to come up with something.
Where I just ask questions.
The All-Star break would be a great reason to do 5 days of Neil Diamond. Why do I do that in April? April's busy. There's March Madness going on.
Next week, what is the best sports achievement of your life? So people just call them and relive their glory at Polk High. Best and worst stadium you've ever been to next week is happening.
Nice.
One thing you'd change in sports history?
Well, the 2014 NFC Championship game, obviously. I do have to go. I look forward to listening to you next week.
I would have had the Soviets beat USA.
All right. You and David Archuleta. Appreciate you, Bart.
Thanks.
Goodbye. That is Bart Winkler, nighttime and nationwide on the Infinity Sports Network. Got a break. We'll come back, wrap up hour number 1 next.
This is the Wisco Sports Show with Grant Bills on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Wisco Sports Show will resume in 3 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 2 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 1 minute. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 30 seconds.
Wisco Sports Show, got about a minute here. We'll get to Zach's update and right to your phone calls and more Brewer conversation in hour number 2. Went a little long with Bart, which normally I don't like doing, and we grab-assed a little bit about some non-sports things, but I think in all of my time doing sports radio, and it's not that long, been doing it since 2018, but I think this is the slowest early July ever. There's nothing going on other than the Brewers, which obviously give us plenty to talk about, but that means we can grab-ass about Oasis. I also have to correct myself. I corrected Bart, but in my correction was wrong. He said the new lead singer of Queen was Adam Archuleta. I corrected him and said it was Adam Levine. That was also wrong. Of course, it's David Cook from American. No, it's Adam. It's Adam Lambert. So finally, we got that sorted. 2-minute update from Zach Hopper. No commercials. Right to your Brewers phone calls after this.
This is a Wisconsin Sports Zone update.
Well, the Brewers are getting a well-earned day off after finishing off a sweep of the Dodgers yesterday with a walk-off win. Just as important as Jackson Churio's game winner was Trevor McGill striking out the side in the top of the 10th. He had multiple pitches top triple digits, including the final strike to end the inning. It came on the same day that McGill learned that he would be going to the All-Star game for the first time. After Pat Murphy spoke of what McGill means to the club.
If you don't know him, he's a tremendous giver. You know what I mean? He gives a lot of himself. And he's got his ways about him. It takes a while to get to know him. He's been through a lot in life. He's way more mature than you give a normal kid his age credit. And he really just loves being part of something and being an important piece of something.
McGill and the Brewers going to close out the first half of the season starting tomorrow as they welcome Washington in for a 3-game series. Milwaukee currently sits just a game and a half back of the Cubs for first in the NL Central. News was not all good for the club yesterday as first baseman Rhys Hoskins expected to be out until at least August with a sprained thumb.
Rural Mutual Insurance, keeping Wisconsin strong.
Rural Mutual Insurance is a proud sponsor of the Wisconsin State Fair. As a thank you for your support, they're giving away State Fair tickets. Visit ruralmutual.com/win and enter to win State Fair tickets.
Rural Mutual Insurance, keeping Wisconsin strong.
Well, Giannis Antetokounmpo said he'll probably be back in Milwaukee next season. Appearing on a Twitch stream from Greece, the Bucks star was asked whether Milwaukee would be where he'll be, and he said, probably, we'll see. I love Milwaukee. Giannis is under contract for 2 more years, but there's been speculation this summer that he could ask for a trade out of Milwaukee. With this Wisconsin Sports Zone Network update, I'm Zach Heil.
Here's Churio now, looking for his first big league walk-off. Churio, base hit, ball game, Freeland scores, and the Brewers win. They sweep the Dodgers. Jackson Churio with his first career walk-off, and he makes a winner out of the Brew Crew, sending the Dodgers to their 6th straight loss.
Quintana today just stepped up. He wasn't going to be outdone by anyone. 6 innings, 2 hits or something like that. Gill, Uribe, Koenig, Anderson, Mears, Ashby. 6. We use 6. That was good.
This is where Wisconsin gathers to talk sports. Packers, Brewers, Badgers, Bucks. The Wisco Sports Show is on the air. Now, here's your host, Grant Bills.
That comment from Pat Murphy, kind of a good summary of yesterday's game, which is why I included in the intro. But it's the second half of that comment that just really makes me laugh because he starts running down everyone in the bullpen who was used. It's like, how did you manage to use 6?
The whole bullpen with McGill, Uribe, Koenig, Anderson, Mears, Ashby. 6. We use 6. 6 out of 8.
Yeah, we used 6 out of 8. Our starter went 6, and I used 6 out of my 8 relievers yesterday. Just Jesus. All right, to your Brewers phone calls as promised. There's 2 of you on hold. I promise I'll get to you. Bang, bang here. 608-321-1670. Wisco Sports Show. Who's this?
Hey, it's Uncle Packer.
Uncle Packer, good evening.
Good evening. Wow, what a Brewer series, huh? It's just amazing. I'm so excited. I want to tell you that I saw the statistic where Mizorowski, Koenig, Abner Uribe, and our closer threw the highest fastball for a game in league history.
Yeah, the average velocity was like 99 something, and it's the fastest in the pitch tracking era, which goes back to 2008. Right. But I don't know that a lot of staffs were, shoving with that speed in like 1964. So you can probably assume that's the fastest game ever.
You can, yeah, and you could almost feel it in the 10th when they came up last night. They were going to win. I'm really excited. It's been a great season so far. Last year I was so into it, and I can't believe I'm more this year. I think we have more of a chance with Mizorowski coming up. Our pitching is solid. It's just way good. I'm so excited about what's going on with the my kids are walking up to the car. Hey kids, I'm on the radio.
There, Uncle Packer, quickly, and I want you to go be a father. Do you have 30 seconds?
Yes, I do.
Does this team feel different than 2021 or 2023? Because those teams pitching and defense, and then they flamed out in the postseason. But you think this team feels different?
They do. They're just so gutty. I really like that. We put so much pressure on when we're on bases. I think we're the best in the league at that. I was listening to the big boys talk today about national baseball, and they said there's 4 solid, great teams in the NL, and they said they're the Dodgers, the Brewers, the Cubs, and the Astros. I think
Phillies in the NL.
And it's can you imagine where we were after spring training to think that we are now one of the 4 best teams in the National League, and we just swept the best team.
Yeah,
it's amazing. I just think we can keep this mojo going, especially because we have such strong pitching.
Well, that's
and
the
I
thing.
never felt better about a bullpen in baseball as a Brewers fan that I did this year.
Well, they've had some great bullpens, Uncle Packer. It's not like they've never had good relief pitching. You go be a father. I appreciate the call. Maybe the difference in your answer when I asked you, is there a difference between this team in 2021 and 2023? Maybe the difference is Pat Murphy. A different approach, a different edge, right? Terang and Freeland, all those guys, they're much improved from 2023. I gotta say they're all stars. Those guys were kids in 2023 when they first broke through. I like this offense a little bit more than I like the offense in 21 or 23. Not significantly, but I think there are maybe differences that could lead you to feel a little bit more positively. We'll keep the calls coming. 608-321-1670. Wisco Sports Show. Who's this?
This is Darnell.
Darnell.
Hey, I believe that this is a different team than 23 and 21 because they have a healthy and productive Yelich. I don't think that existed really in those 23 and 21 runs. At least not the MVP form Yelich that we're seeing again, which I thought personally, and I'll be the first to admit it, I thought that was gone and never coming back.
So you trust Christian Yelich to be that MVP big moment guy, for what Freddie Freeman was to the Braves in 21, or what other players have been to their teams in the past. You think Yelich could be that guy in the postseason this fall?
Well, I'm saying that we haven't seen this out of the Brewers since 2018. Do you know what I mean? Like, we haven't seen a healthy Yelich in the playoffs since 2018. So,
sure.
Sorry, a healthy MVP Yelich.
A healthy, good Yelich is what you're saying.
If he had stayed healthy and not had the freak knee injury in 2019, maybe would have seen something different that year, right? But 2020, he wasn't the same. 2021, obviously not the same. He had issues in 22, 23, and then he was finally healthy last year until halfway through the year, right? So,
why did he have to get hurt last year? That blows so much ass. Just like contrary. This is the other thing that just, I try to ignore it, but I was driving in this morning. I remember exactly. I was turning off the Beltline right onto Whitney Way, and I'm like, why does this have to be here that William Contreras' hand is just a rattle bag encased in skin? Like, he's a fringe MVP level player when he's healthy, and of course he's not.
Right. I mean, and the real difference between those years and this year, and maybe there is no difference at all, but the difference I would say is if you're hot at the right time. I think that plays so much into it at the end of the year. It seems like sometimes, in 2018, the Brewers got really hot in the middle and end of September.
Sure.
And then they rode that hot streak all the way to basically to the damn World Series, right? In the last couple of years, it hasn't been like that. In 21, it kind of felt like by the time we hit September, they were kind of running on fumes. They already had the division locked up. They started resting players every couple of days. It was just like, it didn't feel like, okay, let's ramp up for the postseason. It felt like, let's just get to the postseason. We already won. We're going to be fine, and then they ran into a hot Braves team that ended up winning the series,
sure.
right? The entire World Series. So I think that ends up being a bigger role of especially the first round playoff series. Like, if you got your motors, your wheels already turning, the motors go on, then great. You can usually power through that first series and then build a little momentum in the NLCS. We haven't seen that yet since 2018. So hopefully that, with the Cubs being where the Brewers are right now, right?
Sure.
Where it's actually like a race this year. At least it looks like it's going to be.
There's a carrot to chase. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
They've got something to play for, ideally all the way until the end of September. And then even if they don't win the division, they were playing playoff level caliber baseball all through August, all through September. And hopefully that, translates into October. But, it's baseball. We'll see what happens. It's always just a complete crapshoot.
That's, you can kind of end any baseball conversation with that. I appreciate it, Darnell. So 2 things. Number 1, Yelich is healthy and he's playing good. We're not seeing the level of play right now that we saw from him last year. He's still very good, very solid, but saying healthy MVP Yelich, I think that's a mischaracterization of how he's played this year, although we hope he stays healthy and continues to be the version that we've seen, which is pretty darn solid. Not MVP. Of course, Darnell, basically all boiled down what you said in 2 minutes to 3 or 4 seconds. Yeah, unlike the 2021 and 2023 Brewers, when the 2025 Brewers make the playoffs, if they make the playoffs, just play better. There you go. Just don't suck. They sucked in 21 when it mattered most. They sucked in 23. Corbin Burns stinkied his diaper. Just don't suck. Just don't suck when you get there. When you get a bite at the apple, just don't suck. All right, that's one way to look at it. I think that would be correct. 608-321-1670, Wisco Sports Show. Who's this?
Hey, Grant, Greg, and Madison.
Hey, Greg. What's up?
Yeah, you kind of touched on William last caller, Contreras. I had two just like kind of fun questions I've been thinking about. Like, we obviously know Joey can't bat at shortstop. We need a new shortstop. But could there be a ripple effect of his defense being gone? I don't know if I agree with that or not. I'm just curious. You know, he's such a good on the defensive end. And then with William Contreras, like, could we gamble? Do we have enough? Have we built a cushion where we could let him heal for a little bit and let him kind of come back in August, September, and be his healthy self? I don't know if that's smart, but it's like, have we done enough that we could do that and get a healthy William Contreras for the playoffs?
So a fully healthy William Contreras for the playoffs, Greg? No. I appreciate the call. Thank you for listening in Madison. A rested Contreras? Yeah. He probably doesn't need to catch 162. I think the All-Star break is going to do wonders for him. You can get him rested and fresh so he's not so beaten up and worn down, but the reality of that hand is not changing in the season. Unless they would have addressed it right away in April, which they didn't want to do. Whatever, what's done is done. You can invest or not. No, it's not a matter of, well, if we just get Contreras, you know, one day off once a week for the rest of the season, then his hand will be fine come the postseason. That's not going to work. I don't think he needs to catch almost every game the way that he has. But if you DH him, well, then Yelich needs to play the field or he sits. I'd be fine just giving Contreras more days off, not half days off, not DH. Just if he's not catching, his utility is not particularly high because he's not hitting that well. So if he needs a day off, just give him a full day off. I don't need his value right now is catching, calling games and catching and throwing out runners and framing pitches and calling games. So if he gets a day off from that, you give him the day off from swinging the bat too. Like I don't need him in the lineup if he's not catching. Not missing out on much value. If he's not catching, that's where you're going to miss the value. Forcing him to hit 4 or 5 times a game is not going to make it better. So, Greg, I guess to give you an answer to your question, the short answer is no, his hand is broken and that will not fix itself even with routine time off. The routine time off still might be worthwhile because on top of his broken hand, he also does not need to be tired as hell and he doesn't need to have some little knee tweak come up like he did, you know, at the end of the season last year. So I guess there's multiple ways to answer. The short answer is no, but that doesn't mean that they can, you know, they can't try to get him in the best position possible with some rest and manage his catching days as well. To go all the way back to the beginning of the show, for those who have joined since, I went through a little bit of a process between last night and today. I'm hearing all of these pundits and writers and baseball commenters talk about this Brewers team and say the pitching and the defense, this is a team that's built for the postseason. Here's another example. Brian Kenny, MLB Now, on MLB Network. Listen to this.
Think about what the Brewers were throwing against the Dodgers last night. Jacob Mizorowski, electric, unhittable stuff, 699, major action on his pitches. Milwaukee went Mizorowski for 6, Jared Koenig, Abner Uribe, and then Trevor McGill. The 4 of them combining to average over 99 miles per hour. The highest team average fastball velo in a game since they began tracking velo officially in 2008. So they've just recently added Mizorowski and Brandon Woodruff, once one of the top pitchers in baseball. He missed all of last year and half of this year with a shoulder injury. Woodruff came back, pitched beautifully. First start back, 6 innings of 2-hit ball against the Marlins, 8 strikeouts, no walks. Adding these 2, it's like adding 2 high-level all-stars at the trade deadline. So this is now a serious rotation, again, on top of everything else. They already have a true number 1 in Freddie Peralta. He's got a 2.74 ERA in 105 innings pitched. Now, on top of that, Mizorowski, who's a phenom. Brandon Woodruff is back. Carlos Quintana is quite good. Jose Quintana is quite good. The staff is already 5th in park-adjusted ERA among 30 clubs. 3 potential number 1s right now. Best base running team, top 3 defense. They'll be a tough out in tournament baseball.
Best base running team, best pitching team. They'll be a tough out, and I like that, tournament baseball. I'm going to start saying that. I really like that.
In tournament baseball.
Tournament baseball. So I've been hearing all this. Feeling pretty good. Brewers just swept the Dodgers. Yeah. As I said last night, this might be the year. Go get a bat. How can you waste this pitching staff, starting and relief? Like if Miz is going to be this guy and Woodruff is going to come back and give us more of what we saw on Sunday, like Matt Arnold, Mark Attanasio, etc. How can you guys not think long and hard about going out and getting a big stick to play short or third or another outfield spot, wherever? They have options. And then I started to think, and I saw this tweet, and again, I'll throw it up on the live stream for those looking. This is Jake Wilson, Bart's old buddy from Fond du Lac. Says, the year is 2021. The Brewers have an elite defense, one of the best pitching staffs in baseball, and are built for the postseason. The year is 2023. The Brewers have an elite defense, one of the best pitching staffs in baseball, and are built for the postseason. The year is 2025. It's like, oh, okay, so I see what's happening here. Am I an idiot? Am I a dope? Am I falling for the same cheese in the mousetrap that we saw in 2021 when I remember going home to visit my parents Memorial Day 2021? I remember it. Willie Adames had just arrived and they were just crushing it. And I'm like, guys, I've never even fathomed my team being in the World Series in my lifetime before, but if it's ever going to happen, doesn't it feel like it's going to happen this year? And then they got there and they got blasted by the Braves. I know they won game 1, but like that was Corbin Burns' only elite playoff start he ever had with the Brewers. He had a good one with the Orioles last year that I believe he lost. Okay. And then Rowdy Tellez hit a ding bomb, and that was the game. It was the only game they won off the Braves. That team could not have exited the playoffs more quietly. And then in 2023 against the Diamondbacks, Corbin Burns involved again. And well, the pitching and the defense, and then the pitching and the defense wasn't enough and they lost. I'm like, well, am I falling for the same trap? Like, is this happening again? Maybe I shouldn't be so jacked. Like maybe it's not worthwhile to go get a bat. I don't know. Maybe not. I'm just trying to figure out what to do.
I need the owner of the Brewers to go out and Lamby Lane do a few things, because this team's willing to fight for you and your city. They're willing to fight.
I love that clap, by the way. I'm going to continue to play that. That's when you know you're jacked up. I don't think the lesson is what they did in 2021 doesn't work. What they did in 2023 doesn't work. Pitching and defense does not work. I don't think that's the lesson. I think the lesson is once you build that base of pitching and defense, you need to supplement and not just with little pieces. Well, we'll get the carcass of Carlos Santana. We'll get the the aged body of Mark Canha, which, funny enough, for the last 3 weeks, I've been telling you, I'm not interested in a Mark Canha move. And here we are now talking about 2023. I don't want that piece. I'm not interested in that piece. I have no time for that piece. I don't want to half measure at this deadline. Either ride it out with your guys like Ortiz and Durbin. Fine. Blake Perkins is your fourth outfielder. Fine. Ride that out or go make a move that actually matters. Go get Suarez. Knock down the Red Sox door until they have to give you Bregman. I don't think that's likely, but again, I'm not in charge. I'm on the radio, so I can yell and scream about whatever I want. Like, go make a move that actually moves the needle. Unlike in 2021, not Carlos, the guy with the tight pants, Eduardo Escobar, didn't do much for him. I thought that was a nice enough move, a little bit better than Canha and Santana, but not by much. Like, go actually make a move that matters, because we learned in 2021 and we learned in 2023 that just bringing in little pieces on the fringes isn't going to make a difference. Yeah, thank you, D-Row. I really love MLB Network. It's such a quiet time of year. It's such a dead time of year. So this morning I just sat down with coffee for an hour and I'm like, I'm going to go cut every piece of sound that I can find with the Milwaukee Brewers. I'm going to cut every single piece of sound. I love this. The Cubs won today, but I did love this from today's Locked On Cubs with our friend Sam Olber and his co-host Matt Cozy.
With the way the team up north, with the way they're playing, they've won 29 of their last 41 games.
Jeez, man.
You don't have room for error, and they're pushing you. I understand the easy thing to do is to say, Sam, they just won five out of 6. It's just 2 games. It's not just 2 games when your opponent never loses.
Right, and it's amplified because that team has also won in bunches for the last 6-7 years.
Yep, exactly. And I'm so tired of, they just get lucky. It's like, you know what? If they've been lucky for 7 years, maybe they should go get a scratch off or something. Or maybe they should have a 50-50 raffle. whatever.
Right, they're the only team that luck is involved.
They just play a different brand of baseball that the metrics haven't caught up to yet. It's not about exit velocity. It's not about launch angle. They just play differently. And so because we don't have the numbers on that yet, we just say it's luck. Well, hopefully we get lucky in the game against the Twins on Thursday because we need a win.
And they did win today. So the deficit in the division stands at 2 games. And now the Brewers will have 3 games this weekend against the Nationals. The Cubs will have 3 against the Yankees in the Bronx. We have a division. We have a baseball season. I'm happy. Oh, I wish they could have been just behind by 1. A lot of season left. So I will scoreboard watch and follow along, but I'm not going to scoreboard watch, if you can understand the difference. I know it seems like a small difference, but I think there is a difference. Let's take a break, 3 minutes. We'll come back. More of your thoughts on the Brewers. I have a little bit of Giannis audio to get to later on in the show as well. He made a comment on a Twitch stream, which I have to comment on separately even from the Giannis thing because I don't really get what's going on Twitch these days, but that's we'll get that after the break. All right, 601-321-1670 to you next.
This is the Wisco Sports Show with Grant Bills on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 3 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 2 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 1 minute. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 30 seconds.
Wisco Sports Show. Talk a little bit about the Bucks at the very end of the show. Giannis appeared on a Twitch stream, and I don't really understand what was going on there. I don't really understand Twitch anymore, but that's fine. Maybe I'm not the target demographic for that platform like I once was. Back in the day in like 2018, 2019, when everyone just watched people play Fortnite. I'm still a Tim the Tap Man guy. I don't have much interest in watching him play Warzone or whatever. He played Overwatch, went back to Overwatch, I'd watch that. Played League of Legends, I'd watch that. Very few people actually stream League of Legends. Big time streamers stream League of Legends. Anyways, I'm rambling. To your Brewers calls, we got a couple people waiting. I'll get you right in. 608-321-1670. Wisco Sports Show. Who's this? Hello? Hello? All right. I will come back to you. I'll put you on hold in case you actually are there. Line number 2, Wisco Sports Show. Who's this?
Grant, did you watch Tit the Tap Man when he hopped on Marvel Rivals at all, or no?
No, because that's another game that doesn't really do it for me. I guess I don't know which games do it for me. There's maybe like 1 or 2, and that's about it.
They lost me, but it's pretty much the same as Overwatch, just, with superheroes as the same. But anyways, hey, you were talking about previous Brewer seasons, and it got me kind of reminiscent. And I was thinking about, what do I miss about living in Wisconsin? And sometimes you don't know you love something until you're gone. And I'm here to tell everybody listening, that big, beautiful stretch of pavement that's, goes from Monona over to Middleton that we lovingly refer to as the Belt Line.
Yes, sir.
That's freaking genius. You're telling me there's a stretch of road that connects the busiest parts of a city area that is, scaled to the city, right? It's a 6-lane road, 7-lane during certain times of the day, whatever. It is a stroke of genius. You're never really delayed more than 15 or 20 minutes. And Madisonians, you got to appreciate that thing. Because if you move to the absolute bleep show that is the state of Minnesota and how they design their highways, you'll recognize what you're missing.
Is this like a no? I think, is this like a 694, 494 criticism? Is that what we're getting here?
Well, 50, 294, 694, 494, any intersection just looks like you took a couple of toddlers, handed them some crayons, and they said, do your best work. Grant, I took a screenshot on Google Maps and posted it to the cities and skylines, the real Sim City type folks, and I said, hey, guys, I did my best on this interchange. The post absolutely blew up saying, who in their right mind with a civil engineering degree would put those things together?
So is it on Reddit, or where'd you post it?
Yeah, on the Reddit, of course. I'm always all over the threads, but we coined the term now in Minnesota. We call them uncivil engineers because whatever they got going on over here makes no goddamn sense. So not sports related, but that's kind of my thoughts this afternoon.
No, I think it's a good thought, and you Minnesotans, you guys have quite. Do you hear, guys? He said uncivil engineer. 694, 494, all that is fine. There are some interchanges in Minnesota, and this is true outside of Chicago as well. So maybe it's just an every big city thing. But I feel like when I drive around the Twin Cities or Chicago, there are, how do I best describe this? There are on-ramps and off-ramps that are way too close together. So like if you're coming onto a stretch of highway and it's really busy, it's hard to get over in time to avoid needing to, it'll take you right back up. You know what I mean? Like there's no reprieve. And inversely, if you are trying to exit, you also have to navigate like all of the traffic that's entering. So I don't know if those are, what are those called? Are those clover leafs, like those big interchanges? Maybe it's just the systemic issue that you get in big cities with big interchanges. I'm not going to say, well, Milwaukee doesn't have those because Milwaukee's a lot smaller than Chicago and Minneapolis, St. Paul. So it's probably that simple. I will say, as someone who's driven the Beltline every single day that I've worked in Madison, I've never not lived somewhere that's allowed me to skip the Beltline. It really isn't as bad as some people say. To back about John's point, at most you're delayed 15, 20 minutes. That rarely happens. Oh, you can't live on the east side. Then you have to get on the Beltline. What, 20 minutes? You have people in other cities who sit in traffic for an hour. Oh, no. It might be a little slow from the Monona Drive exit or the Stoughton Road exit to like, I don't know, the one that goes down to Verona. What is that, 12, 18? Like, yeah, it can get a little sticky in the rush hour times. All right. Let's see. Nick says, oh, so the cities are just Waukesha, but bigger. Might be, perhaps. I'm not sure. Again, it's just a problem that I've encountered in Chicago and Minneapolis. But then again, those are just the big cities. You know what I mean? People, you'll hear people complain about Minneapolis. Oh, Minneapolis is this, that, and the other thing. It's like, I just think you have a big city issue. I don't know that you specifically have a Minneapolis issue. You just sound like someone who's not built for big cities, and that's fine. Oh, Chicago. I mean, that's the absolute worst with the traffic and the crime and it's like, well, Well, yeah, it has more crime than, like, I don't know, fill in a blank Wisconsin town. Yeah, it has more crime than Lodi. I guess you got it there. Chicago does have more crime than Lodi. But it's Chicago. Like, you just don't think you like big cities. I don't think it's a Chicago thing. I think you'd hate Indianapolis, and I think you'd hate Kansas City, and I think you'd hate Minneapolis. Now, you might not hate Milwaukee. Milwaukee's significantly, by far the biggest city in Wisconsin. It's not really a big city. I mean, it's large, but it's, you know what I'm saying, getting caught up in semantics. I have not checked text at all, and I am apologizing. 6 Foot Steve says, comparing this team to 2021 and 2023 is absurd. This team doesn't have a manager waiting for the 3-run home run from the reanimated corpse of Gary Sanchez to cover up an opener into Aaron Ashby. This is a good text. I will take astounding defense, clutch hitting, and speed from the left side of the infield and the corner outfield spots and dominating pitching. 6 Foot Steve. It's an excellent text. It's an excellent text. You know what I mean? Like, that is the difference. If you want to point out a difference, and I can't remember who it was earlier, if it was Greg in Madison or if it was Chris down in Oregon who called. Like, the difference is Pat Murphy. The difference is they're doing some of the small ball things that Council never really did. Okay, so maybe that works better. They also did a little bit of that last year, but I don't think their pitching was as good last year. I don't know that last year's team was built as much on pitching and defense as this year's. I think last year's was a little bit more balanced. I don't know. Pat Murphy being the difference. This team doesn't have a manager waiting for the 3-run home run from the reanimated corpse of Gary Sanchez to cover up an opener into Aaron Ashby. Yes. That is excellent. This text just says, Vagabond John complaining. No way. He does find a way to complain, but that's mostly what we do here. I'm going to try line one more time, just in case someone stepped away from the phone and came back. Wisco Sports Show. Anybody there? All right, doesn't sound like it. We're going to take a break. Final Brewers thoughts next, and then we'll wrap up with a little Giannis commentary at the very end of the show.
This is the Wisco Sports Show with Grant Bills on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 5 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 4 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 3 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 2 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 1 minute. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 30 seconds.
What I want to do is give the Brew Crew some love because they're scrappy, man. They always have been. You got to love Pat Murphy, but their lineup we talk about how do you add value? Old school, willing to move runners, hit the ball on the ground, do the little things. They smack you in the mouth with Sal Frelick. 2017 Gatorade high school Massachusetts Football Player of the Year. If you don't think he gets you going, you're lying to yourself. Double. Then we got Jackson Churio, who Brian Anderson's back on the Brewers games, Lauren. I know huge fans of him.
Yeah, I saw that last night.
Do you know Jackson Churio is the youngest player in the big leagues?
I did not know that.
I feel like he's already immersed himself as one of, and I know he's not having a great year to start, and then a resurgence from Christian Yelich, and I shouldn't say resurgence, he's just healthy. Yeah. But they are a scary, scary team because fastball Freddie can get it done. Mizorowski goes today.
And Brandon Woodruff
looked darn good. Yeah. So, hey, I need the owner of the Brewers to go out and Lambeau Lane do a few things because this team's willing to fight for you and your city. They're willing to fight.
That's D-Row, MLB Central one more time. The Brewers are willing to fight, and that really doesn't mean all that much to me. Like, are they good? Their pitching's good. Their defense is good. They need to supplement this team's offense in a way that they didn't in 2021 or in 2023. Like Mark Canha is not going to cut the mustard, right? And Eduardo Escobar or Carlos Santana, Daniel Norris, Andrew Chafin. Bart referenced in the first hour Anthony Swarzak. I don't remember that trade being a thing, but 100% believe that it was. He seems like the pitching version of Justin Smoke. More of your calls and texts at 608-321-1670. We talked a little bit with Bart in the first hour about Oasis. They're doing a reunion tour. And Bart said, well, there's too many reunion tours. There's too many reunions. Now, Scrubs is coming back, and he mentioned that. And, now I guess we're getting another Big Bang Theory reboot, but it's based around Stewart. Okay, we probably go back to the well as a society with our arts and our television, our music and stuff. We probably go back to the well more often than we should, but that's, capitalism is its IP. This is what Star Wars figured out so much longer before. It's amazing it took us this long to get this far, where it's we need content that we can then continue to produce with merchandise and games and all this stuff. Star Wars was one of the first or was ahead of the curve. It's amazing that actually took us this long. But Cohn points out on my complaints of reunion tours, he says, really? These takes are coming from a Dead & Company fan? This is comical. Okay, so Dead & Co., here's the thing. My critique or my annoyance on Reunion or Farewell Tour specifically was the Eagles, who did, I believe, their first farewell tour in like 2002. And they've been playing ever since. Maybe they've taken small breaks, but I saw them at Target Field in 2018. They did their History of the Eagles tour once upon a time, and now they're playing at Sphere. It's not the Sphere. It's Sphere. Okay, whatever. In today's day and age, if you just want to make something cool, you take away the precursor word, the article, or you take away the nouns. You just take the nouns out of your word, and it's like, that's our brand. It's like we cover Chicago sports. We're CH Go. We just took the vowels out. Branding in 2025. We've really come a long way. Dead & Co. So if you want to talk about the entity of the Grateful Dead as a whole, like maybe they did that reunion with Trey and with Phil like back in the night. It was so long. I can't comment on that. But Dead & Company they did one farewell tour and then they stopped touring and then they started doing a residency. That's reasonable. That's not gratuitous. Oasis, I defend Oasis getting back together because so many people have wanted this for so long. I don't know why Bart was, but Bart just complains to complain, which is something else that we talked about. We all complain to complain. Who among us doesn't? Glass houses, throwing stones, etc. No, I feel like Dead & Co. did it about as well as if you just think they're too old and they should stop. That's one thing. I think they're just going to keep doing, spring and fall runs at the Sphere, and they should. Like if the current iteration of the Grateful Dead isn't playing at that building, then why does that building exist? You can't let a bunch of drugged out people go in there and stare at the screen. Like that's what it should be for. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, the Eagles can play there, but Don Henley's on stage like, these screens are pretty cool, but we wanted to play here because 30,000 effing speakers or something like that. And everyone's like, yeah, Don. It's like, that guy is such a he's incredible. But what a raging break. When I saw him in 2018, Jimmy Buffett opened. It was at Target Field. Looking back, I'm so happy I was at the show. And Buffett plays for, whatever, an hour. And it was the greatest hour of my life. And then the Eagles come out. And Don Henley, I can't remember if he talked before they started or if they did like the customary 2 songs before introducing themselves. And Don Henley gets on the mic and he goes, I don't remember exactly what he said. It was something like, we're the Eagles, blah, blah, blah. Thanks for being here. I sound like Steven Seagal. This is a bad Don Henley, and then he goes, we're going to play for a good 3 hours or so because we can. And it's like, okay. Like, did we need all of the Joe Walsh songs? Like, I like Funk 49 and I like Vince Gill and I like Let Your Love, Don't Let Your Love Start Slipping Away. I like all these songs. But as I get older, this is why I like Summerfest so much. You see a headliner at Summerfest, they play for 90 minutes tops. They play all their hits. Maybe they mix in a fun one here and there. They do an encore and it's done. It's over. Some of these concerts, especially when they take a set break, it's like I went to see Bob Weir with Ebo at the Sylvie. It was just a couple years ago now. And I wasn't expecting the world. Bob's older than the Hills. This is the Sylvie. It was kind of cool. So we went. And it was a weeknight. And this guy takes a break. And it was literally an hour. It's like, okay. I'm sure a lot of people in here appreciate the chance to go to the bathroom. And, Bob is, again, older than the Hills. I'm sure he liked to sit down for a couple minutes. But an hour? Like an hour on a Tuesday, no less. Like, it's a Tuesday night, man. I got to go to work in the morning. Like, why are we? I don't know. So the breaks and the concerts can get a little gratuitous. That's why I like Summerfest. They play their hits, couple extras, do a quick encore, and you're out of there. And you're out of there before you have a chance to start thinking like, okay, how many do you think are left? Loving it. Time of my life. Love this band. But like, also, you think this and one more? Like, they haven't played Champagne Supernova yet. They started at 8:15. Let's see, it's 10:45. I mean, they got to be close, right? I mean, I hope they keep playing. I hope they never stop. But like, how much longer? I mean, if they play Champagne Supernova, we could leave. We could leave early. You get to that point at every concert, even when it's your favorite act. It's still like I would kind of also appreciate being home. I'm excited to go home. That sort of thing. That's extended conversation about some of the things that we talked about with Bart. in hour number 1. Why don't we break a little bit early? We'll come back. A little extra time for phone calls in the final segment, which we don't normally have, and that's on me. I also have some Giannis audio that I want to play for you. We'll do that next as we wrap up the show.
This is the Wisco Sports Show with Grant Bills on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 3 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 2 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 1 minute. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 30 seconds.
Last segment of the Wisco Sports Show. Got some extra time. We normally don't in the last segment of the show. So if you want to jump in, you can. Still plenty of time. Phone lines are wide open, so you don't have to wait. 608-321-1670. Some wild news that broke in the NFL. It's not necessarily pertinent to us, but Jesus, I just got to read this for you. This is from Adam Schefter. Statement from agent Doug Hendrickson on his client, Chargers running back Najee Harris. Quote, Najee Harris was present at a 4th of July event where a fireworks mishap resulted in injuries to several attendees. Najee sustained a superficial eye injury during the incident, but is fully expected to be ready for the upcoming NFL season. I don't like poo-pooing things that other people like. I think it's rude. See this with food a lot. If someone likes, I experience it in the studio every single day. I like eating my cottage cheese for breakfast. And Kate is always like, ugh, she gets so weirded out. So I've started eating it more, actually. Ebo likes his cottage cheese too. Don't comment on my food. I won't comment on your food. If I see you over there scarfing down olives, and olives are like the one thing that I don't even really like. And it's a bummer. I wish I liked olives because sometimes I'll try them and I'll be like, I can grasp the appeal. I can see it. I just wish my body would my body would let me enjoy this thing. But really, olives, it's the only thing. But like, just let other people like what they like. So I don't want to poop on something that other people like. Fireworks, maybe I'm the age now. Maybe it's like Christmas, where you love it when we were really young, and then you lose it for a bit, and then you have kids of your own, and you rediscover the magic through their eyes. Maybe that happens with fireworks too. The drone show phenomenon has been fascinating because I feel like I don't understand how people can be like, drone show, that's stupid and that's dumb and we should get rid of that. And then that same person will be like, but fireworks blowing up in the sky, that's my thing. It's like, what? I understand if you think fireworks are stupid. I understand also thinking a drone show is stupid. I see that logic. I don't see one or the other. Glad Najee Harris is okay. We almost got another one. Jason Pierre-Paul losing fingers. Najee Harris, a superficial eye injury. I'm going to assume that means not that bad. Maybe just scratch the cornea. I don't know. Here's Giannis on stream with, now who is this? Is his name Speed? I think it is. Let me, yes, the streamer is called I Show Speed. Now, when I was growing up watching Twitch, I watched him the Tap Man. And a little bit of Ninja when that was big in Fortnite, just because Fortnite was such a thing. I watched people play video games. Now all the rage is just streaming your life. Well, Grant, you stream your show. Yeah, I know. Don't, yeah, fine. Okay, you got me. But I don't stream, like I don't sit there and just talk about my life. Like, this is a sports show. This is a medium that's existed forever. So I don't really get what's going on Twitch these days. But I Show Speed is sitting there with Giannis, I think somewhere in Europe, maybe in Greece. I don't care to really look deeper into this. It's not really the point of it. Here's their exchange.
LA, the tax is bad. New York, tax is bad.
Yeah.
Hell no.
A lot of people tried to convince me to go and play there and stuff.
Oh, no. So you staying in Milwaukee?
Probably. We'll see. See. Probably. I love Milwaukee. And that's a church right there up there.
So the conversation starts by referencing LA and New York taxes. Giannis says, yeah, a lot of people want me to go play there. And then when asked if he's going to stay in Milwaukee, he goes, yeah, probably. I love Milwaukee. We'll see. Yeah. And then you could tell how like Giannis did not want to talk more about it and then changes the discussion at the end. He's like, yeah, you see that church over there?
And that's a church right there.
That was me, by the way, in the RV with Bill when we drove up to Eau Claire and La Crosse a couple weeks ago. It's like, yeah, I love this route. Let's take 95 up. That's beach corners right there. He's like, I don't care. Like, okay. But I care. I found it exciting. I like going through Ettrick and Blair Taylor and the like. So I get it. Hey, you see that church?
And that's a church right there.
But Giannis's actual answer one more time.
So you staying in Milwaukee?
Probably. We'll see. See. Probably. I love Milwaukee.
So you could see how he didn't really want to expand on that. So some people saw this as like, he's kind of leaving the door open. So, of course, Giannis could have said, I am staying. I'm excited to play with Miles Turner. I don't know why people keep asking me this. I've never asked out. I don't plan to now. He could have said that and slammed the door shut. Totally. I read this answer more as, I don't want to talk about this. I'll just say what I need to say and we'll move past this. And I personally have experienced this. I can tell you when I like go to the bar or something, like when I'm back in La Crosse and I run into people that I know or, I'm out and about. You know what people love to ask me? How do you think the Packers will do this year? I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. I don't really want to. I don't want to sit here and waste time talking about the Packers, man. Like, who cares? I mean, I care. Like, oh, Grant, you're a sports guy. What do you think? Slap me on the ass with that. What do you think? You think the Packers will be good this year? I'm like, I don't know. Like, I'll talk about it 4 to 6, and like we'll talk about what's going on. And like, is that really what you want to talk? Is that really what you want to talk about right now? They're like, man, I don't know. Like, if someone were to ask me right now, hey, you think the Packers will be good this year? I'd say, I don't know. Tough division, tough schedule, but they got a lot of young talent. It should be fun to watch. Like, that's the equivalent of what Giannis gave in this answer.
So you staying in Milwaukee?
Probably. We'll see. See,
you can tell how quickly he just like, I'll give you whatever answer satisfies this. Now, by the way, if I see you and you want to talk Packers, I will. That's just the example that came to mind. Like I see a group of friends I haven't seen in a while, excited to see him, excited to reconnect. They're like, man, do you think Jordan Love's gonna have a good year? It's like, I don't know anything more than you. I know not. I mean, like maybe I watch games a little bit more closely, or maybe I read a little bit more. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I'll turn on this mic at 4:00 and like, I'm good at talking about it, but I don't know anything about anything. Know nothing about nobody. So that's how I think I've been in that spot that Giannis was in, where he's like, I'm just going to give whatever answer will satisfy this so we can move on. Does that make sense? That's how I read it. Could be wrong. I could be wrong. I don't know anything. But that's my guess. Let's take a call here before we end the show. 608-321-1670. Wisco Sports Show. Who's this?
This is Brian in Independence.
Hey, Brian. I love Independence. That church, Brian. Speaking of driving over on that side of the state.
Yeah. I was wondering if you're going to Catfish Days this weekend.
So, you know what's funny is I'm going over that way because I have nothing going on this weekend. I was going
to... On Saturday morning, the 5K race starts right in front of your hotel.
I'm going to be in Westby on Saturday. Should I just come earlier and go to Trempealeau? I feel like I should. What else? Yeah. What else is at Catfish Days? If I were to come for like 2 hours, I'll be by myself. Like, what would there be for me to do?
Well, it depends what time of day or which day.
Saturday.
Oh, Saturday? Well, there's a whole bunch of stuff. There's the race in the morning, 8:00.
Okay.
Starts in front of the hotel. And
is there will there be a tent where they serve catfish? Like, is there a signature dish of something for the festival? Like, could I come and do that?
Yeah, there's a tent where they have catfish.
Yeah. It does sound good. I could fish at the great Trempealeau fishing float over across the way.
Yeah, you could do that.
There's plenty that I could do. Are you going to be there, Brian?
Oh yeah, I'm going to run.
Oh, you're running? Well, best of luck.
You going to run too?
Well, I mean, that's pretty early. It's pretty early in the morning. And I just did leg day yesterday. I mean, I can barely walk, Brian. Nobody needs that. I'd slow everybody down.
Oh, okay.
Thanks for the call, Brian. Maybe I'll see you on Saturday.
Yeah, maybe. Talk to you later.
Catfish Days up in Trempealeau. Yeah, right across the way from the Trempealeau. It is across from the Trempealeau Hotel, but in on the river. We hope sponsors the show. I bet they're booked up this weekend. Catfish Days is a big deal. If I could go and just like get a thing of fried catfish, corn on the cob, like, it might be worth it. Maybe I'll go up there because I was going to go to. Here's the thing. We got a minute left of the show. What I was going to do, I have no plans this weekend. I was going to go fish around Viroqua on Saturday, but because it's so hot this time of year, unless I'm on the water at like 6 a.m., there's no point in getting there until like later in the day because the fish shut off when the sun hits the water. Anyways, so I was going to go stay at home until like lunch and then drive over. But if I could hit up Catfish Days first, now it's like almost another hour north of there, so it's extra driving. That's never slowed me down before. You've given me a lot to ponder here, Brian, up in Independence, and thank you for the call. Beautiful church, beautiful place. I love Independence. I'll give you a final decision on this. I'll sleep on this tonight. Maybe I will get up to Catfish Days on Saturday. Tomorrow night, we will wrap up the week. We will preview the final weekend. We'll continue these Brewers conversations as well, on top of whatever else comes up, because things are a little bit slow this time of year. So it's kind of fun to grab ass about this, that, and the other thing. Appreciate Bart Winkler. Appreciate you for listening. Thank you. Have an excellent night. I'll talk to you tomorrow at 4. Never miss a Friday show.